a.m., please.
All right, we are now recording.
You want me to call the meeting to order again?
Sure.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. We'll make it 10:11 now, a.m. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance
flag
to the flag
of the
of the
United States of
States
America
United States of America,
and to the
and
republic
to the republic,
which it stands,
which
for
is
which it
stand
stands,
one
one
nation
nation,
under God,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible, with
indivisible,
liberty
liberty
and justice
and
for all.
justice for all.
That didn't sound horrible at all.
That is the most painful pledge I've ever sat through in my life, with all the feedback and everything.
Yeah.
All right,
We did feel,
Madam Secretary, would you call the roll call, please?
she's going to have to unmute herself. *6, Pam, if you're on the phone.
I'm not. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't have a copy of all of our names, but I will fake it. Okay, Roland,
here,
Roger, not here, right?
Roger's not going to attend today. We just got
Okay,
the phone.
Stan Weiner? Nowhere?
Unknown.
Okay. Dolores Schlicker,
Here,
Mike Maturin,
Here.
I'm doing this from my brain and that's not working really good. Pamela Ashford, obviously not. Beverly Zorn,
Is not on the
Beverly's
board.
not on.
okay.
Stephanie would be your next person. And she has approved
Stephanie.
action.
Stephanie
Dan
is on, yeah, Stephanie and Dan are both unavailable, right?
Excused. Right. And excused.
And excused, yeah. Okay. I think that's all.
Okay.
Beverly, Roger,
That
yeah.
is our roll call then.
Mhm.
All right. Persons wishing to address the board with prior approval. Do we have anybody that wishes to address the board?
No, but the person who should be addressing the board is not going to attend the meeting today. So I don't know, should I bring up what we talked about? If he's not gonna, he has to be the one, I don't know, if he has to be the one to present that, but it would be great.
Yeah, well,
So basically, so that everybody's not scratching their head, Roger stated that he would not be able to continue his duties on the board and that he was looking to resign from the board. So we are, we had an election and that we have the results ready to go, but I was hoping that he would be present to address the board, to let the board know of his intention.
Right. We cannot take any action on filling his spot until he formally resigns.
correct.
So we'll have to hold off on that portion. I did, Lenny, check with our bylaws. We have two options with an open seat that's midterm like this. Obviously, we can't exercise either of those options today. However, those two options would be to make an appointment or to hold a special election. So that's the way we would proceed with that. But
The board can approve. The board can
Elect.
no, the board can appoint
appoint, yeah,
midterm or
right.
let me get the exact wording just so that we have it. Or special election. The special election is the preferred. Vacancy on the board occurring during a board member's current term may be filled by special election. Should no elected person be available to fill the vacancy, the board may appoint a person by majority action. So that would
Right.
mean that we have to do a special election. If there's nobody available to elect, then we may appoint.
Well, we have got how many positions to fill right now? Beverly, Roger, and Stan. we've got three
Yes.
Well,
positions that's empty
Right
right
now,
now.
right now, we have Beverly and Stan.
Well,
Okay,
right now, we already have those positions filled. We just need to continue to move down the list of
Right.
things on the agenda.
Correct.
So let's
So
not get too muddled. So let's
since,
just
yeah,
say he's not here to do that. Right now, we don't have anybody's wishing to
Right.
address the board, and then we can move to the next
Yep.
agenda item.
and if Roger
Right.
chooses to resign, he may do that by formal letter or the next board meeting.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Next
Now,
item.
what happens if,
Yeah,
Kathleen has changed her mind because of all this chaos?
Then we
then we
find a
will
new board
have,
member.
yep, then we'll
Keep
have
moving.
an additional nomination process.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So at this point right now, is Kathleen and this new lady, Mary, or whatever her name is, are
Mary.
they on the board now?
No, we have
Dolores, it is
to,
very important that guys, we have an agenda. And
Let's
we need
follow
to
it.
follow the agenda because this is
All
how
right.
these meetings get longer. So we'll go through the agenda and it will explain everything. Everything is in your
Okay.
board book. So we'll go
Okay.
down the list and we'll get you that information.
okay, next item on the agenda, background checks. Lenny, would you like to address that, please?
Yes, so due to the new requirements for our grantors, which is ASA and the feds, as well as programs that we run through Region 9 AAA, everybody has to have background checks. All of the staff here at ACCOA have already completed their background checks, both state and national. So we need you guys to complete your background checks for this fiscal year. So I need you to
Okay.
complete that information that is in your board packet and get that back to us so we can complete the board's background check. Now, once that's come through, you'll be good for 3 years. That is also the length of time of your term, which is 3 years. Some of your terms will come up in 2021. Some will come up in 2022. So we will let you know if you have a position or a term that will be up, but background checks are due as soon as possible. You can just write that information in your board books. So when you return the board book, please just fill out the paperwork that is in the front of it.
Sounds
Lenny,
good.
I want to clarify just so that there's no confusion and we don't get things just combobulated here. Everyone, including people like myself who took the background check a year ago, must redo the background check because of the new policy, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Even
Alright,
though
that's-
you did it a year ago, we got to do it again?
Yes.
Everything, yep, it needs to be up to
Okay.
date and current. So we're
Okay.
gonna do the entire agency up to date. That includes any and all volunteers. If you do anything, any business with ACCOA, and you come in contact with people, you have to do a background check.
Okay.
Are you talking like my TFAB volunteers too?
They should,
'Cause-
but TFAB is a program brought to you by NEMSCA, and you need to be the one running the checks. Yes.
Wow. I'll have
Okay.
to talk to Tammy or Bonnie about that because I don't have any idea how to do any of that.
Well, that's why they run it through us, and we can help you with that program. But as it stands, that's an issue for another time. But yes, volunteers also need to do background checks.
Even though they're not volunteering for ACCOA, they're volunteering for TFAB, for NEMSCA, I'm assuming.
Right, but it's a program that that gets reimbursed by us. So we are the host site. So yes, they would have to get background checks.
Okay.
But like I said, we can talk about that at a later time.
Okay.
And we can work that out with you on getting your people background checks.
Okay.
Lenny, this is Yvette. I would just like to add that do you have a local Alcona COA policy to apply? If you're going to apply it across the board, did you write up a policy that's inclusive of the new regulations?
That is all, that is included in their board handout and it's included in their bylaws. And
Right.
section A of the bylaws has been included in your board for you to reference. That says right here on the bullet point. So that they know, and then staff knows across the board that background checks will have to be filled out.
And so you do have a policy on it.
We do have a policy. Yes.
All right, anything else on that point? All right, we need to go, everyone's, I'm assuming, had a chance to read the meetings from the minutes from the October meeting. Are there any additions or corrections?
I have some corrections.
All
Go
right,
ahead, Dolores.
On the last page, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth paragraph, it says, we planned it out with the health department, and then it doesn't say anything else. It stops right there. And I don't know if, maybe if you just take "and" off and put a period there,
yeah, it was
or
cut
maybe
off there.
maybe that's not important. I don't know.
Well, it
and then-
depends on what the next sentence was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know. And then also, Mike, your name is spelled wrong, but that's probably a minor thing too, right?
Yeah, that's minor. There's a couple of misspellings in there. I don't worry about those, but
Okay.
is there anything else that you had, Dolores, besides that?
Yes. Down in almost the last paragraph, it says Dolores suggests $50 bonuses. I didn't suggest $50 bonus. I said that's what we've done in the past.
All right, so would
And-
you like that to be changed then to Dolores reminded us that in the past, the
Yeah,
bonuses were
something like that.
$50?
Because I didn't say we should only give them $50.
Okay,
And I did go along with the 100, but.
right.
And then at the very end, shouldn't it say that, it says closed session is started? Shouldn't it say we come back to regular meeting and then adjourn the meeting?
Yes. And then along with that, on the same page, there was a motion made by Roland to allow Lenny to formulate a plan to open up, seconded by Dolores, but no results were given. So we just need to put either motion passed or motion denied.
Okay, I think it was motion passed.
It did pass, yes. Any other corrections to the minutes or additions?
I make a motion that the October minutes be accepted as with the corrections.
All right, we have a
I'll
motion. Do
second.
we have a
I'll second.
second? All right, Roland has seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye,
All
Aye.
opposed, nay.
nay.
Motion is
Oh,
carried.
I'm sorry. I'm eyeing a nay, sorry.
Well,
Yeah. a little
motion is
bit,
carried.
Thank you.
All right, financial reports.
Okay, give me 1 second. For the love of goodness, people, why is everybody calling me?
Mike,
Mm-hmm.
aren't we supposed to say someplace if we want to add something to the agenda?
Oh, yeah, that was left off of here. So are there any additions to the agenda?
I would like to put on there someplace, ask about the Christmas party and the Christmas bonuses. But maybe that's going to be in Lenny's.
It is.
That should be a new,
Pardon?
That's,
shouldn't that
that
be a
was.
new business?
Unless it's already in Lenny's report, I'll add it to new business.
You can add it to new businesses.
Okay. It has, any other new agenda items to add? Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the addition to the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the new additions.
Yep. Do we have a
Second.
second? Roland has
Second.
seconded it. All in favor, aye.
I,
All
Aye.
opposed, all opposed, nay. Motion approved. We have added it to under new business. All right, Lenny, now for all the exciting stuff.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so I'll share my screen. Oh, which screen are you guys looking at? Let me make sure I have the correct one. I have multiple
Right
screens.
now, nothing.
Okay, can you see this over here?
Okay. Yeah.
The
Yes.
statement of activities.
Yes, so statement of activities reports, this is basically from last month. So you have
Okay.
month in. I need to mute people, see if we're gonna get feedback. So Pam, you're gonna have to hit start 6. I believe that was your feedback. No, you're good now. Okay, so basically, so this is our report of revenue for those that you should be looking at your statement of activity report. It's in your board packet. It basically talks about how much revenue that we brought in for the
Right.
month. We had to allocate the budgets for the year. Everyone should have had their budget allocation sheets given out to everyone. So see what we have. I believe we put that in your binder as well,
Yeah.
which would have been
Yeah.
the year's budget. So as you can see, we have allocated $618,042.96 for the year for all of our programs. Right now, we've received about $7,062.35 in revenue. And in expenses, we had about 70,000 in expenses. So
Right.
this is just, like I said, par for the course, because it's basically in an entirety across the program. So we had $70,000 for the month in expenses and about $7,000 in revenue. So, but this goes against our total budget that we budgeted for the year. Okay. Any
Right.
questions on that report? Anything specific? There's like over 20 something items. So I don't want to go through each individual line, but everyone, if you had a chance to kind of look at that, you can take a look at it, or you should have taken a look at it. And if you have
I was
any
gonna say,
questions,
we did look at
right.
it.
Any particular questions, notes, things that you guys want to take a look at, have any questions about?
No.
Okay. I will move on to the next report, which is the statement of activities. It's the 9-page report that is going to go through each individual programs. It has our congregate home delivered meals, admins, what we use for millage, homemaking, personal care, and alternative care. As I stated, we had $70,000 in expenses the last month. Most of those expenses could be applied to the grant, not all. So whatever is not applied, that's where you see in your summary sheet, our budget summary sheet, as what the millage is going to cover. Right now, we've only received about 25% of our funding from NEMSCA for these grant programs. I believe it's because they were not given their full amount from the state of Michigan. So once they get their full amount of allocation, they will then reimburse for whatever we were not covered for those months. Any questions about the 9 pages of the statement of activities by programs?
do we still have a bingo account?
We do.
It is renamed. It is not a bingo account. I mean, we have a lot of general ledgers. Myself, Jennifer, and Tony have eliminated probably about 50 general ledger codes, and we're in the process of still cleaning up. There are so many codes over the lifetime of you guys using Cougar Mountain. So there are things in the software that are still there that we're in the process of getting. We had like 9 different expense codes for office supplies. So we eliminated that to only use for 1. We had 7 different expense codes for gas. So we eliminated that to only use one. I said that last month that we will be doing that. So we're still in the process of cleaning house and getting only the most common use general ledger codes.
Right.
So hopefully the report will become smaller and smaller. This used to be, if you don't remember, 19 pages long. Now it's only 9.
Yay.
So as we continue to clean, it's going to get cleaner and cleaner and shorter because it basically will show a zero balance to any line item code that we don't allocate expenses or revenue to. So we just show a bunch of zeros. Well, we don't need those zeros. We can just get rid of that.
Right.
Okay. Moving along, if anybody doesn't have any questions.
One question though. With the Health Resource Center, even though we're at 0, I mean, it's one of those that looks like it's going to be removed. Is it really going to be removed, or are we going to keep it so when we are up and running again? Is that something that would be continuing, that we would have somebody in for the Health Resource Center or not?
That is not even a program I'm even aware of that's in house.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I would guess that anything like
Not
that,
to worry about it. It's going out.
we would probably go away with it and then redesign it as to this current general ledger.
Okay. Okay, good. Because yeah, I've got the bingo one, I've got this one and that one, and that doesn't, it's all zeros. So I'm thinking we're getting rid of it, right?
Right. Like we don't have any plans, especially in the middle of a global pandemic, to open up bingo. But if we do, it takes nothing to type in 4 numbers with a appropriate account code to open up a bingo account. But as of right now, it's just taking space on the sheet that we just don't need or use.
And we don't need an extra sheet of paper.
That is our goal.
Yep. Good.
Okay. All right. Finally, it's the programs by activities by programs by the sheet. That is the 19-page report that we cannot get away from. That page, this report is different than the last report because this report goes detailed into programs. So for congregate meals for the month, we had an expenses of $5,010.24. We had a total revenue of $487.20. I can tell you historically, we spend probably in the neighborhood of $80,000, and I think we've gotten maybe $1,000 for the fiscal year.
Right. Yeah.
In congregate meals. It is not something that we make any money off of. It's not something that it is our biggest throw the money out of the window program is our congregate meals and home delivered meals, because we just don't get a dollar-to-dollar reimbursement for those services. So when you see the disparities between revenue and expenses, that is why, because we just don't get a dollar-to-dollar reimbursement. We get units that we get reimbursed from our grants, but the grant doesn't cover all of the expenses of the total program. So as it is right now, our congregate meal program is right now at a net loss of $5,223.04, which we had already allocated a budget for the year of about $60,000. So if we continue that trend, we would be on track to be under budget if we use those numbers. So if you take that and multiply it by 11, because we've already done the 12th month, we would be under budget.
Yeah.
And that's how you would read those sheets. So you go to the far right, where it says over under budget, it has the total revenue, and that's in brackets. And then all the expenses come out of that revenue portion of the sheet. All right, moving along to home delivered meals. Home delivered meals has done a little bit better. People have been contributing to their meals, although with a lot of it being contactless and a lot of it being, not interactions where we normally would be able to talk and shoot the breeze with people. We're just basically delivering the meals. Hey, how are you doing? Everything's okay. Bye-bye. But people have still been diligent. They've still been mailing checks. They've still been giving it putting their secure payments in. So we've had a total revenue of $2,131.75. We had expenses of about $15,202.52. So our net loss for the month is $13,070.77. As you can see, our home delivered meals is one of our largest programs. So we allocated almost $200,000 for the budget for that year. We were very close to that budget last year. So we kind of kept within of about a 4 or 5% increase due to inflation for this budget program. So that's our home delivered meals. Any questions about home delivered meals?
No, I think it looks good when you consider what we've been doing.
Yep. Administration, we allocated for about $137,736.94. If you guys want me to round, I can round. I just reading it off the sheet. In admin revenue, we brought in $2768.39, so $2,768.39. We had a lot of expenses because a lot of the things that we're doing is out of the admin area from the general ledger. So that basically comes from the general account. So we're not using ASA funds or state funds to pay for any of these other programs. So we're using what's out of or call our general millage. And that's where we're paying things like the SIDOC group, where we're paying things that are, wages that are not applied to any of the grants. Like my wage is not applied to any of the programs because I'm not in those programs.
Right.
Versus somebody who's like the coordinator of in-home services or the coordinator of the congregate meal program. So that's where those expenses derive. So as you see, we're still on budget for that to kind of maintain. There's a couple of high areas, but like I said, this was approved by the board, and this is kind of things that we kind of were expecting going forward. Okay. Any questions about admin?
Nope.
Okay, so the millage, we will be getting 2 millage disbursements coming up, one in January and the other one, I believe, in March or April. So those will be the winter and the spring disbursements. We are estimating somewhere. Oh, are you able to see my graph? Did I move my screen to where you guys can't see the report anymore?
Yeah, all you've got up is the agenda.
You just
Okay,
have the
I
agenda up, so.
I did move that. I just realized I did that. I apologize. So we will be getting roughly about $680,000 in the new millage. So that will be allocated as such for our current millage plan. So when I put together our budget, that is what I was based off of. What is our current millage rate? So I believe I allocated around 630. So we have about $50,000 in wiggle. There is still a 0.25 millage that are still out there on as a kind of hanging check that would net us another $180,000 in revenue until that falls off. The board will have to determine if they would like to try to put that back on the report to see if that's something that we want to continue to keep as revenue. But that is where we are at for our millage. Once that 0.25 drops off, we're going to again be in a tight margin of about $50,000 worth of wiggle room. So we're going to be pretty much holding where we got and using either reserves or trying to increase our fee-for-service programs that are currently growing, but in a global pandemic, they're not growing as fast as I would like. So we're still utilizing those services. All right, so let me scroll down. We have the bingo account. As I said, that account is going to disappear. There is no bingo. We currently don't offer any 2E elder abuse. However, I did allocate some budget for that. When I say we don't get any revenue, that means it's not a program that's paid for by ASA or reimbursed by NEMSCA, but I still did some allocation in that because I would like to lead some classes and workshops to train some of these individuals to learn about elder abuse. So we're going to be hopefully in a place to where either we can either do it in person or do it digitally or do it as a Zoom meeting or record it or recording, so that people will have an opportunity to understand scams and things that are coming their way. So that's 2E elder abuse. Any questions on that? Okay, homemaking. We allocated about 58,000 for homemaking services. I believe this is 3B. This is all the budget right here. Is this little section is the budget. And then our total revenue, we made $112.80 for people paying for their services. Our total month expenses in 3B services was $1,577.71. We have, I believe, 4 or 5 different homemaker codes that we utilize. So if I repeat myself, it's not because we printed out one too many, it's because we break this down into different programs. So this is 3B. Okay, personal care. This is for those individuals who need like bathing assistance or bath assistance. We made $24.80 in revenue. That means somebody put towards their care, their personal care, and sent us a check. This is our current budget that we budgeted $14,186.86. Our total expense for the month of October was $735.51. That would also include staff wages, mileage, all the supplies and things like that. So that's also what counts as the expense. And this is our revenue from the expense. So we have a loss of $710.71. Okay. This is our SAC, State Alternative Care. So this is this program. We allocated $39,000 into the budget. We had $60 in revenue. That means somebody paid towards their care. We've had this amount, $86 in wages in preparation. We had, so that means like $86 was the admin, what it costs to run the program and do the administration. And then this is what the service was. It was meal preparation. So we had an expense of $750. So between our expense and revenue, we had a loss of $689.85.
Lenny, what's the difference between alternative care and personal care?
Personal care is a program that we provide bathing assistance, more physical thing. Personal care as physical touching, and homemaking as touching your environment.
So homemaking is an alternative?
Are you asking the difference between the two programs, like state alternative care versus personal care? Are you asking about the programs and what they're doing?
Well, I don't know. There's 2 sheets. One says alternative care, and the other one says personal care. I just wondered what the difference is. I know personal care is to help somebody get a bath and maybe wash their hair or whatever, but I didn't know what alternative care is.
Well, okay, so there's state alternative care homemaking, and then there's state alternative care personal care. Okay, so there's 2 different categories. So if it's state alternative care homemaking, then it's homemaking services. Then it's and then if it's state alternative care personal care, then it's state alternative care personal care for personal care services. So it's 2 different programs with the same heading of a name. Does that clarify? I'm sure that's clear as mud, right?
Yeah, I still don't get it, but that's all right.
Lenny, state alternative care is homemaking only. It's the state aging network services that can be either personal care or homemaking. So the
SAN, that's right.
SANS as the one that can be either one, but Region 9 only funds homemaking services under state alternative care. The only difference, Dolores, is that they are individual grants that need to be reported separately, but they are still for the same service of homemaking.
Okay. that helps a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you are Dave Ramsey, okay, I'll give it to you in layman's term. Dave Ramsey says that you have an envelope, and I'm having deja vu because I know I said this last meeting, but I'll say it again. You have 9 different envelopes, and you put $100 in each envelope. So when you go to make an expense out of envelope number 1, and that expense was in the category for envelope number 1, you can't take envelope number 2 and pay envelope number 1 expenses. You have to use envelope number 1's $100 and keep track and receipts for envelope number 1. These are what these program sheets are basically saying, that when we break down all our little envelopes, so all the expenses in this envelope and how we spend it and what our wages and all those other things are attributed against that budget that we're doing for the year. So as long as we stay within the envelope, there won't be a problem. So I guess that's the best way I can give you financially of what we're talking about is each grant is an envelope that the state gives us, and we pay for what services and needs out of those envelopes. Is that good? You got it?
I got it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Makes
Next
sense.
is State in-home services homemaking, or SIHS. So this is homemaking. So this is taking care of the environment. We allocated $130,000, roughly rounded up, $191.76 in revenue. That means some individuals paid towards their services. This is what it costs as wages for admin. This is what it costs for our workers to take care of those individuals. These are expenses that we incur during the year. So our expenses, during the month, our expenses came to $2,673.17, which gave us a net loss of $2,481.41. You're going to see a lot of net losses because, like I said, the grants don't pay for everything, and we only got 25% of what was promised because our funder only got a portion of their funding as well. Okay. So next program is eSheet Respite. Respite program is basically where we go in and go to it with a caregiver, and that caregiver gets a break from that client, either to take care of errands or whatever they need to do while we sit with that client. So we allocated about almost $10,000, almost, we'll round it down lower, almost $9,000 to that. A total revenue is $630.75. So we get really high in that because that is a much needed program. A lot of people are super happy to get a break, and they are willing to pay for it more so than
Absolutely.
everybody else who gets home delivered meals or congregate meals. This is the program that really does well in donations because people appreciate that break. Again, it costs money to do these programs, and this is our expense section. So we had $2,171.50. So a net loss of $1,540.75. So state in-home services personal care. We allocated $11,387.37. We had a revenue of $15.20. Again, if this was dollar to dollar, our expenses and our revenue should balance out if people were paying for all their services. But we don't cancel services because of people's inability to pay. So again, this is why we have losses, and this is why we ask for millages for operational budget to cover the things the grant doesn't cover. So total revenue was $15.20. Expenses was $449.73. Net loss was $534.53. Okay. We don't have that.
Okay.
We don't have that. State Aging Network homemaking. We allocated $13,732.29. Total revenue was $11.28. Total expenses was $174.31. Total income loss was $163.03. Okay. We don't have any waiver clients. If we did, that would show up there. We have waiver clients in our home delivered meals, but no waiver clients that we taking care of services. So we have grants and special projects. So this is our general ledger code that basically say that the grants that we kind of bring in. So monthly, we brought in $417 for the food bank. And we had some expenses that comes out. We got, I know you guys can't see that. I think I may have added a picture to my phone. I need to email it to myself, but we got new lettering on the yellow truck that now bears our logo.
Cool.
So that's super exciting. But that's, those are the things that we allocate the expenses out of the food bank account. So if we have to like buy additional food trucks or things like that, you know, that's what we are. That's where we're at. I don't believe I took a picture of that. But that is the special projects. So if, say, for example, we had, we were awarded the MPHI PPE loan, which was about $25,000. So next month we'll have that in there to show what we spent and the amount of revenue that came for that. So that'll be in those sheets under special projects. We really don't have any revenue or allocation for a building fund since we are also looking to move to a different location and build a new project. So that is the financial report as stated. Any questions about that? Okay, then we are good to move to the next agenda item.
Well, let's see. Did you go over the Visa credit card?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Visa credit card. So basically we open up a new credit card account that allows us to basically streamline all of our accounting in our Visa. So before I had a credit card, this manager had a credit card, that manager had a credit card, this manager had a credit card, and then we would have to log into each individual credit card to pay it, and then pull down statements from each individual credit card. It was just an accounting nightmare. So we switched our credit card services to where it's under American Express, to where it's one business account that we can allocate cards as needed and set limits and spending and notification tracking for those cards. So let's say, for example, manager A might have a spending limit of $1,000, and I can say you can only purchase gas. So that means if she goes to, you know, I don't know, I don't shop. She goes to JCPenney's and she tries to buy a new outfit. It won't work because it's not an approved vendor. It's not coded as gas. So we can do certain things like that and have better control of accounting.
Pretty slick. Yeah, good.
Okay, I'm not even sure what the checklist is. I believe it's somebody else's shorthand, not mine. But that's all I have for that. Tony is home, as you know. Some of the
Commissioner's
schools.
report. Gary is not present, so we won't have a commissioner's report. Dolores, were you trying to say something? Your light came on.
My light came on?
Yeah, you must have
I
made
don't
a
know.
noise. Okay, you're all right. It's misspelled on the agenda. We apologize, but
Numcast.
Numcast. It's a new agency. Numska report.
I'll just keep it quick. As Lenny was mentioning, we do only have a 3-month SGA so far for fiscal year 2020. So I don't expect to see anything until the end of December for hopefully at least the next 3 months, but you never know how they come in, but we are hopeful for that. So far this fiscal year, we have not seen any additional pandemic funding or emergency funding. So we're moving forward as is. The other thing I did want to mention, we are working on the direct care worker $2 an hour increase. So the COAs, we had a Region 9ers meeting and they did obtain the forms to be able to submit their hours so we can reimburse for that. So that was some good news. That continues through December 31st or until funds are exhausted.
Good.
I think that's all I have unless anyone has any questions.
Sorry.
Any questions for Nemska? All right, we shall move along then to in-home service report. Leanne.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Leanne.
Hi.
So what I have is that this month, we did a total of homemaking hours of 319 and a half. We did 146 and a quarter hours of respite services and 42 and a half hours of personal care hours. What I'm seeing so far for this month, just to give you guys a heads up, is with the uptick of COVID, people are calling in. They are a little concerned. So far, we've only had one client that has said, you know, please put me on hold until this dies down a bit. So we're holding steady, but new people that I'm trying to roll on are kind of on the line of, well, I want services, but I don't know if I should get services. So those are still in the works, but just to give you a heads up for kind of what's coming down the line.
Leanne, I don't have respite care. Are you seeing, because of the COVID and people are getting, you know, probably tired of being together all the time and all of that, are you seeing an uptick in respite care requests, or is it staying steady?
Right now it's staying steady. I've the only respite calls that I've taken really have been more about, like, I've not asked for respite before, but I need to go to the store. So if somebody could come in,
Okay.
I really don't have anybody that's like, I need a break because of COVID. So
Okay. All right. I was just wondering because we're seeing it in other areas where it's causing great deals of stress amongst families. And I just wondered if that was causing an increase in respite care. Thank you.
Leanne,
So-
I would also like to say that you're doing a fantastic job. I know you get a lot of phone calls. People are angry over not getting a cookie with their meal, or they're angry because somebody didn't wash their kitchen windows or something. And I know you get a lot of static. You're doing a very good job, and I appreciate it.
oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been kind of funny with how people are reacting to different things. And you know, I think if people could just step back and remember that we are all in this together and we're all experiencing new things, that would go a lot further, because the majority of the people that I talk to, once I say to them, well, you know, this happened, like we had to add more clients to the home delivered meals because people are staying home more, then they kind of back down and they're like, oh, I didn't think of that, you know, thanks a lot. But yeah, people are calling in left and right. They really want to know what's going on, you know, here. Why are we operating the way we're operating? Why are we, you know, sending our people in with more supplies on? Do we know something they don't know? You know, or why is our worker not coming in? You know,
Right.
so it's like, it's really hard to field those calls, because, you know, I tell them, I said, well, I can't share, you know, all I can tell you is that we're doing our best, and, you know, we're following guidelines, and we want to keep, you know, our staff safe and you safe. And both sides, both direct care workers and clients, if somebody cancels, right away, they're on, as my brother would say, red alert that something has happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not always the case.
Is the bed bug problems getting solved?
I watched the news last Thursday and Friday and saw the reports on the bed bug situation. I have not heard any more outside of that. My direct care worker that normally goes in there has been unable to go in there the last 2 weeks. No, actually last week. She should be back in tomorrow. So I'll have a report again on what she's seeing.
Right.
Hopefully
Excellent.
that gets under control.
I'm really hoping, like, I sit at home with kind of like the evil hands of like, ha ha ha, when when the lawyer was on, I was like, yay, I hope Prime Management is hearing us now, that we're not stopping and we're not backing down. We need somebody to speak up and, advocate for these folks. And I was a little sad, that the village thought that it was more of like a personal problem, not a village problem, which, I mean,
Right.
I get it from both sides. I can see how they would think that, but these people really need a voice to advocate for them, because
Yes.
when my worker's going in and she's finding masking tape all over someone's furniture saying that it's trash, and the person's being told that it's because bed bugs like to live in wood, and then I Google it and find that bed bugs will actually live anywhere as long as it's close to the host. It's like, they're just, they're playing a game because, the seniors in there aren't tech savvy and won't look that stuff up for themselves.
Right.
Well,
Don't know
that,
how.
and they find themselves between a rock and a hard place. So they're, it's a bad situation. I'm glad Lenny stepped up to, and you and the rest of our staff to be advocates for these folks that
Yeah.
very often don't have the ability to advocate for themselves. So thank you.
Thank you.
you.
I think we should all be real proud of ACCOA for doing that.
Yep.
It was a
Absolutely.
huge step, but it's also so necessary.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
Do you have anything else, Leanne?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. And since I have not yet lost my my sense of taste or smell due to this stupid COVID, I want to talk food. How's Julie? Let's have a food service. Julie, you have to unmute.
Yeah.
There you are.
Okay.
Go for it, Julie.
Does Julie have a mic? Julie, do you have a mic?
This is the quietest I've ever heard Julie.
Julie,
I'll walk my computer into her. Maybe she doesn't have a mic.
Maybe.
Get your mask,
Horrible.
Leanne. Leanne, mask.
Oh, darn.
I know.
Right here. See, I keep it next to me, and yeah, my brain goes one way. And I've covered it on my desk.
Can you say that again?
There it is.
There. Now you're legal.
I don't think I have a
Well,
mic.
say something.
No, I don't do it. So I'm hoping you don't get feedback, but.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
yay.
Okay, what do we need to do?
Mute your, we gotta turn down your speaker so you don't get feedback.
She's fine. It's
Yeah,
because
so
she doesn't
far
have
we're
a mic.
okay.
We're not getting any feedback.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, last month, we did 1,459 hot meals. We sent out 679 frozens, 330 sack lunches, and did 168 congregate.
Wow.
We put 932 meals this month so far in the freezer. And my budget for October, I spent $3,619.71, which left me for last month a balance of $980.30. And now, of course, right now we're back to no congregate because of being shut down again. So we're just doing the home delivered meals. And we are doing today some drive-through for the turkey dinners. We have 9 meals going out for that today. And one of the members from my church sent a $10 donation when he heard about it. He didn't want any meals, but he just wanted to help out.
Neat.
Now, can anybody call you and order a Thanksgiving dinner for today?
Not now, it's too late.
So when was the deadline?
last week. Because, you know, today they're already cooked and going out, and I'm not positive how many extra I'm gonna have until I send out my last route.
Okay. Julie, I have a question on this sheet here. You got that the frozen meals that you send out was 679, and the meals that you put in the freezer was 907. Aren't you counting them twice? You're counting them when you put them in the freezer, and you're counting them again when you send them out for this total meals of
guess I probably did.
3,543.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. I was just writing down all the numbers and adding them up, so. Yeah,
Yeah, I think we're counting them twice.
well, I probably shouldn't have counted what I put in the freezer as the number of meals served.
Right.
So I guess I did do that wrong, but oops, sorry.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'll have to remember that for next month's report.
Now, the meals, are they going to the churches then? Are you like sending, let's say, are you going to send 10 meals up to the Baptist church? Who's going to collect for those meals, and who's going to do the NAPAS form for those meals?
Okay, what's happened is none of the churches but my church have actually responded back. So I have gotten the NAPAS forms already filled out for those needed, and I am collecting the money. They are doing this. They're coming here to pick them up since there's only the 9, and they will be coming in this afternoon and picking them up. I will have my donation slip out there. Some have already paid for them. And then I'll, just get all the rest of the donations.
But if the person is under 60, then you also collect the $6?
Yes, if they're under 60, it's the $6. If the ones that were over 60 are the $3.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I was
and
just
everybody
wondering
knows that.
how
So,
that-
I called and touched base with everybody yesterday that's picking up the meals. So the ones that hadn't paid know how much they needed to pay.
Right. Thank
Are there
you.
any other questions?
All right. Thank you, Julie.
Wait, this is Yvette with NEMSCA.
Oh.
I have a question. So if you're completing NAPAS forms on these individuals, I'm not sure what the meals are, but you're not requiring that they donate, correct? So if somebody doesn't give you a $3 donation, that's fine?
Yeah, it's a donation, but everybody that I've asked how much it was, and I told them it was a $3 donation if they're over 60.
Okay, so just so you know, it should be a confidential donation. So they should be have access to a location where they can just leave their money.
Well, I have a donation box that I will,
Julie,
social distance hand to them, and they can put the money in.
Okay.
Yes, well, we have, so to alleviate your concerns, Yvette, we have it to where anyone who's 60 years or under has to pay full price for the meal. And we have that price worked out. And then we have anyone that's going to fill the NAPAS that is over 60, they know that is a suggested donation and not a requirement to pay. So
Okay.
we've already had individuals who have donated for those individuals who can't. So right now, it's only a handful of people. Everyone else opted not to do any type of meal program due to the increase in COVID in our county. So
And
that's where we stand.
They have the right then to do it anonymously. They also have that right to not.
They can also pay it on our PayPal. They have all several different ways so they can make a donation or choose not to make a donation.
Okay, just want to make sure that they're not feeling like they have to make their donation.
We are aware, as I attest to everyone else in the meeting, we take losses. So because we don't require people to pay for their services.
Correct, because that's what the funding is for.
Part of it, yes.
Thank you.
Anything else for Julie? All right. Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome. Have a good Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yep. You
Thank you.
too. And Lenny.
Okay, guys, so I'm gonna kind of speed through what I have here. I have other stuff coming up. So I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna show you what our new trucks are gonna look like. So this is the Food Bank of Lincoln truck now. This is the back of it. So we got I forgot the name of the company we bought the stuff for, all that ripped off of it. And now it has the Food Bank of Lincoln logo. We also, there we go. So it also has this on the side, on both sides of the truck. So this is where people will see, and they can call that number and get access to the Food Bank of Lincoln. As you can
Nice.
see,
Cool.
also our transportation van, we're going to show you another picture of that. So this is our transportation logo. It's ACC with the handicap action symbol in as the O, transportation. And then that's the number 499-7433, spells the word ride. So it's 989-499 ride. And that's our transportation van. So that's what's going to show on the back. That's what's going to show here. So it came out really good.
Yeah.
I'm pleased with it.
Looks great.
So
What about
hopefully
the 12 passenger van? Has that got a similar
That-
logo then?
it's going to have this logo,
Okay.
the shuttle. Yeah. So
Yep.
it's right now in the shop right now getting that applied. They have to heat the bay up to like 62 degrees to apply. So it takes some time, especially in winter months, to get this done. And we were able to get 8 vehicles for under $2,500.
Awesome.
Nice.
Eight vehicles and a 4x8 banner. So we got a 4x8 foot banner as well. So that was pretty
Nice.
good deal. Omega Electric did for us. So we're super excited for that. A little bit, I remember now what the list was. So we're going to go back and cover that in the financial report. That is the bond fund from that was from Edward Jones. Now that the elections and everything is now over, the stocks are less volatile, and we've had several days of gain. So I can tell you it's not going to be accurate as of yesterday because the stock gained 300 points yesterday. So, but I can give you of our current bond fund, it was a positive growth of 80.81%. From this past month, which would brought us up to $2,794.41. And the balance towards growth account, which we did take a loss in last month, has now recovered. And we now have, because last month I think we were at 23,000 or 40 some thousand because we took a pretty sizable hit. Now we're back up to $64,794.06. So those two accounts have made a considerable amount of recovery since everything is kind of looking like it's going to settle down. So we don't anticipate having any more major reductions in hits. We also put into your form the full budget worksheet for 2020. If you guys, I want to give you guys a place to ask questions about that. That is basically the entirety of the year for all programs. I kind of went through it in the sections that I did with the 19 different pages, but that has everything at a glance. And then the red areas at the bottom is what the millage is going to have to cover. So we have what's allocated. So we anticipate what it says at the bottom. It says source of funds. So let's say, for example, Yvette said, okay, this is where the money comes and pays for. So for example, for 3B funding or 3B homemaking, our federal funds that we get for 3B is $16,417. However, our expenses is $58,231.55 for the year. So that means the people of Oconee County have to pay $36,756.55. Let's say we go to, let's say state alternative care. State alternative care we get $9,219. However, our cost is $39,144.71, of which the millage picks up $28,224.71. So it's not a dollar to dollar reimbursement when it comes to the grants. So that's why we have to, make sure that we are within budget, we stay within budget, and we try to seek out areas that we can have success in getting our fee for services, and hopefully have people donate. It's not a requirement, but if they can pay towards their services, it's a great help and benefit for us.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any questions for that budget sheet?
Nope, just an update for you though, Lenny. Current Dow Jones is up 372 points as of a few minutes ago. So
Cool.
Perfect.
we're
So
still
gonna-
trending
so
up.
it's gonna be- yeah, so it's still going to be trending upward, which is a good thing. The last, as the personnel committee, I will say the personnel committee met, and in their generousness, they decided to give the staff a 4% raise over the fiscal year. That would be a 3% immediate increase, with the 1% coming after 6 months evaluation to see where we're at as far as budget, see where we're at as far as COVID. And I can tell you that it was well received by our employees, because that is instantaneous helping for a lot of people who are living paycheck to paycheck, to have a little bit of extra wiggle room. Also, the $2 was mentioned by Yvette from ASA. That's an also big boon too. That extra $2 an hour for those hours work for those programs also goes a long way.
Right.
So that's updated there. So we sent out those notifications to the employees about their fiscal raise. We also, any questions about that? Because I'm going to move on to the next thing I have.
I don't have a question on that, Lenny, but would this be a good time to talk about the Christmas bonus?
No, because
That they'll get?
It's on, well, not.
Or do you want to do that later?
It's under new
technically
business.
Is under old business. Well, we can do it on new business, but yes, that's under new business. We can talk about that. Okay. So the next thing is the SIDOC group. We were able to get back once we talked with Oconee Health Centers. We did get a permission to start our surveys. So we're going to be doing the topographic survey, the geological survey, and the third survey. I can't remember the technical name of those. And those were, so our topographic survey is going to complete probably towards the end of December, right before Christmas. So that's going to be performed by the SIDOC group. They're going to do our topographic survey. That's about $4,000 for that survey. For Prin Newhoff is doing the geotechnical investigation, which is also known as soil boring. They're going to bore down to the soil, make sure it's good for building. That survey is going to run us, let me find the dollar amount there, if it's on this contract here. $6,800 for that survey. Now, not all of these things are common, so this is not something that is out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are things that you have to do when you are looking to build on a particular site. And then Sager and Associates are going to do our environmental site survey, which means they're going to check and make sure that it hadn't had any industrial waste or something yucky or something's underneath the dirt that we don't know about. And that particular survey, all these surveys are going to hopefully end by the end of December. And that's going to be about $1,800 to $1,900 they quoted us, barring any hiccups or anything in there. So that's also standard for that. So our building project is moving along.
Do we
Any
have to
questions?
wait for these? Do we have to wait for these things to get back before we make a purchase agreement?
That was
Yes.
that was what you guys had approved was that these surveys have to come back positive before we would make an offer to purchase the land. And once a favorable report would be generated from those surveys, then we can, continue to move forward on that. I am also, Lori chided me for jumping the gun, but I kind of had backdoor knowledge, but it's official. I have a piece of paper that I share with my staff that we got from NIMSCA. And normally we would get pages attached to a single page, but under our financial assessment conducted September 16, 2020, they found no findings or recommendations out of 13 different categories. We got an attaboy.
Bravo.
So I will take the attaboy, and we won't make a victory lap.
Absolutely.
But
Congratulations.
We'll gladly accept the attaboy.
Yeah, you deserve it. Good job. You guys
So
all
good
deserve
job,
it.
ACCOA and the team for doing that.
Yes.
Couple of things I want to pivot from there, unless you guys got any questions about that report. No, okay. We are going to be looking at the next phase of COVID planning. So I've put together a couple of plan A, plan B, plan C going forward. Right now, the building is closed to the public again, so there are no more classes going on, no in-person congregate meals. Our congregate meals are being held by drive-through for those individuals who are looking for congregate meals. We are not doing any knitting circles, any arts classes or anything like that.
Dancing.
So the building is, everything's closed to the public. So right now we had about, I would say 13 or 15 individuals in the building on a normal day between all of the managers and their departments. I have now reduced that to about 5, not including food services staff, but we have greatly reduced that. Now, the reason for that is to get below what's the suggested amount of people that the CDC as well as the health department are advising, as well as DHHS. They suggest that if we can do work from home, that we do the work from home. So with that incurred some additional costs that we had to kind of act immediately on. So we had to purchase devices or set people up on plans to where they can remote workly. As we know, internet is not something that everyone possesses. So we had to, get jetpacks for certain workers to be able to work at home. We had to deploy our Chromebooks and laptops that we had to those employees to make sure that they're able to work from home. Some employees had to get phones so that they can continue to call clients, because we don't want them cross-pollinating personal information with their private phone numbers and things like that. So we had to talk with Verizon to get certain programs added to our computers, our softwares and our devices, to where that can clone our agency numbers. So basically when somebody calls, they'll get an agency number or they'll get a Google Voice or something, but nothing somebody's private number. They're not getting, Leanne's personal cell phone. They're getting the agency phone numbers to talk to Leanne. So we had to set up that. And we got 18 devices to deploy for our direct care workers. I brought this up the last meeting about having the need for the electronic visit verification, as well as those. So we'll be scheduling a training in the next week or two for those from Generations to get those things deployed. I also got a lot of additional PPEs for our workers, and we went over, myself and the team went over new COVID guidelines for personal care and homemaking. So now we're adding an extra layer of barriers. So before, our standard operating would be a mask for personal care. So now we've added a mask, goggles, and a shield, as well as a scrub, our uniform, so that so that they have a little bit more of a barrier control that they can just immediately take off, so that, you know, we're protecting not only the consumer, but we're also protecting ourselves, because our two biggest areas of high risk employees come from our direct care workers and our home delivered meals. They see the most amount of people, they come into contact with people. So we want to continue to keep them protected and keep our clients protected as well. Any questions about that? Okay, so moving along from there, our plan B option, or the nuclear option, which is if this thing really takes a turn for the worse, everybody's going to work remote. So we're in the process of, like I said, securing additional devices and phones and things that we need to make sure that if that becomes a thing, then we're going to make sure that everybody is able to still either work remotely and still keep the agency afloat. We had a scare. We had a congregate meal participant that was positive, that affected a third of our food service department, and they had to isolate based off of the suggestions by our district health department. I myself also had to isolate because I said hi to the individual. So, you know, these are the things now that we have to kind of, you know, I believe the term is called COVID fatigue, where you've been protecting yourself for so long that you've gotten kind of laxed. We stopped wearing masks, we start associating again, but now we're back to where we were back in March. So that's kind of our current policies right now for our COVID with that. Last thing is the problem with us is that we are frontline workers, are considered emergency workers, but we don't get any of the emergency worker, I guess, benefits, for lack of a better way of saying it. So I'm working with the health department to ensure that our employees have essential workers letter that they have in their car, so that they can have that if we ever get to a lockdown. So we're going to do that. And then also I'm working with the health department to get us testing, so we can test daily using the Binox cards. They're Binox COVID-19 AG cards. Hopefully this works. We'll see. Give me 1 second and I will pull this video up.
And Lenny, while you're looking for that, there's also a program that's free to use online. It's not a testing program necessarily, but it's a screening that like where my wife works, every employee has to do this online screening, including taking their temperature every day before they report to work.
Right. Well, we do that regardless. We have we have what's called a healthcare questionnaire where everybody takes their temperature. That is required by MyOSHA. And so we have been doing that, and we have been recording the data. If we get this waiver, we would be able to do testing. We have a registered nurse on staff, which is Meg. She's a part of this. This is news to her, so I'm springing this on all of us. But that program would need a licensed nurse to administer the test. It is a nasal swab. It is not the brain tickler, not the one that goes all the way up and touches your brain, but it's the one you go into your nose and you circle a few times. And then you're able to put that into the applicator, and it works just like a pregnancy test. 1 stripe, you don't have a COVID baby. 2 stripes, you got a COVID baby, you know? So that's kind of what the Binox cards are. So hopefully the sound is loud enough, and hopefully you guys could see and hear this. So
Lenny, all we're seeing right now is your home screen.
COVID-19 antigen.
Binox now.
Test interference may occur in patients.
Can you see it now?
I can't, but let me see if somehow my computer had a brain fart.
I can see the
How about
Binox now. Oh, now we're back at your home screen.
Okay, right now you can see that.
Yes.
Yep, Binox now, COVID-19 antigen. Yep.
Okay, let's go.
This video demonstrates
Can you hear
safe
it?
performance of the
Yes.
Binax COVID-19 antigen test. Test interference may occur in patients using mupirocin with brand names of Bactroban or Centani. Use universal precautions and treat all samples as if they are positive for COVID-19. Do not use personal items such as computers, pens, phones, or cell phones, or other personal items while testing and while wearing personal protective equipment like gloves. The following supplies are included in the BinaxNOW test kit. Swab to collect the patient nasal sample, BinaxNOW COVID-19 antigen reagent, BinaxNOW COVID-19 antigen test card, package insert with testing directions, and patient fact sheets. The following supplies are required but not included in the BinaxNOW test kit. A timer, such as a wall clock. Do not use your personal cell phone. Paper towels, hand sanitizer, EPA registered disinfectant effective against SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19, biohazard waste receptacle, regular waste receptacle, personal protective equipment. This is the same personal protective equipment as used to collect.
Lost it.
Lenny, you muted yourself, so we can't hear the.
It may be helpful to
Better?
have tissue
Yep.
available for patients after sample collection.
Thank you.
The BinaxNOW antigen test works in a similar way to an at-home pregnancy test. Antibodies for SARS-CoV-2, the virus responsible for COVID-19 disease, are immobilized on a filter paper strip attached to the test card. A liquid reagent is applied to a separate area of the test card and becomes mixed with the patient's sample from the nasal swab. The card is sealed and the wet swab moistens the filter paper. If SARS-CoV-2 is present in the patient's sample, it will mix with the antibodies and show as a pink line on the front of the test card at 15 minutes. The blue line at the top of the filter paper will turn pink. This ensures the test is working correctly, whether the result is positive or negative. Each kit comes from the manufacturer with a positive control sample. This is used to perform quality control. In Michigan, this quality control is performed for each lot number of test kits by the state public health laboratory. If the kits you receive contain a positive control in a foil packet, you may use it to train a new tester or simply dispose of it unopened in the biohazardous waste container. The testing area should have a space where the patient sample is collected and the test is set up. It should contain a pen, a permanent marker, the BinaxNOW test kit, gloves, disinfectant, hand sanitizer, paper towel, regular trash bin, and a biohazard waste bin. These items can be shared by both testing personnel and a station set up to make the supplies easy for both to access. A test can be performed by one person who follows all steps of the procedure and interprets the result one sample at a time, but it is preferable to have a team of 2 or 3 people if your facility is testing several people at a time. This process will make it more efficient and less prone to error. The following example will demonstrate a 2-person method, but a 3rd person should be added for data collection and supply replenishment if many people are being tested at a time. All test personnel should wear personal protective equipment. Use disinfectant to clean the test area before setting it up. Again, handle everything carefully and treat all samples as if they were positive for COVID-19. Test person 1. Tear up a piece of paper towel and place it on the clean work surface. You will set up the test here. Take one test card out of its pouch just before using it. Do not open several at a time. Once the patient information is entered into the resulting platform and verified, a unique identifier which exactly matches the patient is placed on the test card. This is critical. It can be a unique number or letter that is matched to the patient information or other unique identifier, but it must match exactly and cannot be mistaken between 2 samples. The same ID is written with a permanent marker on the front of the card where indicated. The identifier will be the only way to match the card with the patient after the 15 to 30-minute test run time. Write this same ID on the patient fact sheet and hand to the patient. This is how the patient will obtain the results after 15 minutes. The approach being similar to the numbering service system used in retail stores or service businesses. If you have more than one test running at a time, serious confusion leading to error can occur if you can't absolutely match the test with the patient. If such an error occurs, a new sample must be collected and tested. Open the test card and place it flat on the work surface. Add 6 drops of the COVID-19 antigen reagent to the top hole of the test card. Do not touch the dropper to the card. This can contaminate the dropper bottle and lead to erroneous results. Put the top back on the dropper bottle. Do not leave it open. The patient's sample is then collected and handed to test person number 1. The patient's sample is collected using swabs provided in the BinaxNOW antigen test kit. No other swabs can be used. Follow the training for proper collection instructions, as an improperly collected specimen can lead to erroneous results. For self-collection, start by sanitizing your hands. Next, use the swab provided in the test kit. Insert the swab into each nostril and rotate the swab 5 times, starting with the nostril that has the most drainage. Finally, hand the swab to the test personnel. Test person number 1 inserts the swab into the bottom hole of the test card carefully, as to not smear or contaminate other areas of the card. The swab is pushed to the top hole and rotated clockwise 3 times to mix the sample with the drops of reagent. Peel off the adhesive on the right side of the test card and close the card, sealing it. Test person 2 starts the timer. If you are running more than one test at a time, make sure to read each card in 15 to 30 minutes. Test person 1 must take off their gloves and dispose in biohazard waste. Clean hands with hand sanitizer and then put on clean gloves and set up for the next patient to be tested. The work area should be cleaned regularly with disinfectant, especially if a contamination occurs, like the test card is on the work surface or anything is spilled. Clean all surfaces thoroughly, following the directions on the disinfectant at the end of the test period. Always wear personal protective equipment while cleaning. After 15 minutes, test person number 2 will interpret the results. The result is indicated on the front of the test card on the filter paper. Test interpretation should begin by asking 2 questions. Is the control line present? Is the control line pink? If the answer to both of these questions is yes, the test result is valid and can be reported. A valid positive result will show a pink control line and a pink sample line. A valid negative result will show a pink control line and no line next to the word sample on the card. Any other results, such as the ones shown here, are invalid and the test must be repeated. Collect a new sample. Do not use the same swab from the first test. If the second test is also invalid, the patient should contact their healthcare provider. Do not read results after 30 minutes. After the result is recorded, the test card must be discarded as biohazardous waste. Change gloves and use hand sanitizer after handling the test cards. Dispose of biohazard waste according to state and local regulations. Notifying the patient of their result status can be site-specific. Follow institutional policies for providing patients their results. Do not use personal items such as computers, pens, phones, or cell phones, or other personal items while testing and while wearing personal protective equipment, such as gloves. If a swab or test card is dropped, wear your PPE and use a clean paper towel to pick up the dropped item and dispose in biohazard waste. Remove your gloves, clean your hands with hand sanitizer, and put on clean gloves. Clean the area which had contact with the contamination By applying the disinfectant in a circle around the contaminated area, wipe from the outside of the circle toward the middle, so you are wiping from cleanest to most dirty. Let the area dry and repeat if necessary. Remove your gloves, clean your hands, and put on clean gloves. The sample test procedure and other important information is located in the package insert contained in the box. Be sure to read this information in addition to this training and before you begin testing patients. For questions regarding testing and result interpretation, contact the manufacturer. Some assistance can also be provided by the Community Health Emergency Coordination Center by emailing checkdepcore@michigan.gov.
Okay, so was that the most riveting 11 minutes of your life? But this is what this is what we're gonna try to do. We're gonna jump through a lot of hoops to get it. So it's probably gonna take us 2 to 3 weeks to get what's called a CLIA waiver. We're not. It's called the CLIA stands for Clinical Laboratory Improvement Amendment, but we are not a clinical laboratory. But because we have a licensed RN on staff, we qualified as a waiver in this new program to where we can do testing. This is how nursing facilities are able to continue to have open. This is how AFCs are doing it. So our health department suggested, since we are part of the emergency force out here that we're providing it, that they're willing to help us by keeping these test kits and able to do it, so that we can continue to have daily COVID-19 screenings, so that we don't put our people in the community at risk, as well as our staff not being at risk as well. So that's going to take a few weeks. Since since you guys suggested we might not have a December meeting, I'll send you out an email and let you know if there's headway on this. I believe that will bring us to the end of my section. And then we
Lenny,
can get
would
Go
those
ahead.
tests be just for like staff, or would they be for like volunteers that come in, or just anybody that wants to come in off the street?
We are not a lab. No, this will only be for staff, and this will only be for those staff that are in the highest risk positions, which means our direct care workers and our home delivered meal drivers, the people that are constantly breaking the bubble and going into those individuals. You know, we only have so many test kits a day. So that's basically what we would be doing. So we basically don't have the resources like big cities. So we get, like, I think they're going to give us a weekly or a couple of days test kits for the week, and we would go through those as needed. And then those staff people who are in direct care workers and home delivered meals will take precedence over like managers and those individuals. So we would go the direct care workers and then their direct supervisors, because they're having contact with them. So then it would open up to any other ancillary staff. But no, we're not having people come off the streets asking Meg to come give me a nose swab to see if I have COVID.
Okay, if I need to come in to sign checks, then it's something that you would consider at that time?
Well, if you need to come in for sign checks, we're just going to put you in isolation, and you're going to sign checks in the place where you have. So as long as you PP up, you know, you just let us know when you're coming, and we'll make sure. There's an E in there. PPE, sorry. And once you get that going, we will then isolate you, and then you can sign checks from there.
Okay.
Yep. Anything else for Lenny? All right. Are there any committee reports? We already covered the personnel committee and Lenny's report.
I don't have any.
Don't believe any of the committees met. So.
No.
All right. Old business. Do we have any old business, Lenny?
We do. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to mute myself.
And Meg, while Lenny's doing that, I don't believe I took the time to personally welcome you to the staff. So thank you.
Who is that, Mike?
Meg, our nurse.
Meg is the nurse?
Yes, up in the
Okay.
upper left-hand corner in the
Alright.
beautiful blue shirt.
So I got Jesse. She's going to be reaching out to Roger, and
Okay,
hopefully
thank
we
you.
get that taken care of while we're still in the meeting.
Yep.
Old business, board member elections. So now we're at the nitty gritty of that. We when I say we, Jesse, our office manager, did an awesome thing because she did the bylaws state for congregate meal participants, people who come in for congregate have voting. She created a ballot for every home delivered meal participant, and then all of our delivery drivers, when delivering the food, also delivered a ballot so that those individuals could have their voice heard. And we got returned probably about 80 ballots back in this election.
Excellent.
They knew they were picking two candidates. So the two candidates that have been elected to a 3-year term are Stan and Kathleen. Okay. So then they would have to affirm that they are still interested and I guess I don't know the word, but they would have to just say that yes, they're still interested in the position, and then they would become active board members. So Stan and Kathleen won their elections. So they are so Stan was a re-election and Kathleen is a new addition. So
Lenny, are you going to reach
it
out
was
to
a
them?
very close
to-
election. I will say that it was very close. We have a possible third option that we can talk about since we may not have a meeting in December. We can quite possibly do this. I don't know how you want to do this, Mike, because we had enough votes to where it was literally on one hand how different the close was. So, and these individuals know who Mary is. So, but right now we can't get in contact with Roger. I know he expressed that, but if he does wish to advocate and we're able to confirm, you can say the third person or the runner-up in this election could serve out the remainder of Roger's term
That'd be
if
great.
this board so chooses. And if that's the case, then we would be whole at the end of this meeting, and then we wouldn't have to have a special election because we've already had an election, so to speak.
Correct.
And then instead of it being 2 open spaces, it would have been 3 open spaces.
Right. And just to make sure that we're following the guidelines, I agree with you that election make a formal appointment of that third person. So, and then like you said, we'll be whole. Will somebody reach out to Kathleen and Stan to get an acceptance of their election?
Yep. We will be doing that today at the end of the meeting. We'll reach out to them and see if there's a formal acceptance of those positions, and then they will be active board members for Oconee County. And
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mike, you broke up a little bit about the special appointment. If we do get confirmation from Roger that he is done, you want to do a special appointment or no?
Well, I think just to cover ourselves, I think the election is probably valid, but I think we should just make a formal appointment once we know that we have an opening.
Okay. And then
And I did put in the chat asking someone to contact Roger, which you had
We
already
did.
covered with Jesse.
We just did, and we left a message. So would you like to, if we can get this back to you, if we're not going to meet in December, do it via an email or call you guys to let you guys know, and then we can record the vote from the phone call, and then we can just
For
go
Mary?
and add that to the minutes.
I think that's a good idea. Just call us or email, whatever you got to do, and
Yeah.
we can appoint Mary or whoever to take
Mary
over
Chip.
for Roger.
Right. Okay, I can do that. So we'll get a confirmation that from there, and we'll get Raj to send something. I'm sure he's very eloquent of letter. He'll probably be like, "I'm done. I'm tired." would be his letter. I quit. I can't hear.
We
Yes,
also
Robert.
need to we also need to appoint somebody else then to go to the NEMSCA meetings.
We
'cause
did that
Roger
last
was
month.
doing that.
We did that
We
last.
did that last month.
Right, but wasn't it Roger that's gonna do it? Or no,
No,
it's
he
they-
Mike.
was mine, remember?
Yeah, you
Mike
appointed
did
me,
It's gonna go.
Yes, okay, I forgot.
Can I get
Yeah.
a timeout?
and I went, so.
Go ahead, Robin.
You want me to call Kathleen? I can do it right now.
No, we'll do it. We'll do it formally. So we'll do that and we'll call her up. And our team will get that done. So we'll let her know the results and congratulate her.
Yes.
Now, should we also wait till they accept before we say who's gonna be president and who's gonna be vice president? Can that be put off until the January meeting?
Yes, we can do that.
I would think, yeah.
I also need in the bylaws, because I don't remember seeing it or reading it, how often officers need to be nominated, if it's
It's
yearly.
it is in the
Once a
bylaws.
year.
It's once a year, but it doesn't
Yeah.
give a time frame like October, November, or whatever.
Okay, so then let's do it
Usually-
fiscally, October to September then.
Yeah.
Last year it was in January that that Dolores stepped down and Mike took over.
Okay,
Yes, but that was just because I didn't want to do it. But the formal ones, we always have at the October meeting.
Right. Which we missed.
Right.
So
and is that something that's elected from the board? The board chooses the
Yes.
president, or, okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay. All right, then, once we are whole, we'll look at January as a time for officers, elections and nominations, and committees. We need to also re-solidify our committees for the fiscal year. Don't
If
worry,
I
as we
re-
get, as we
if
go.
I
as
recall,
we
the
go-
committees are appointed by the chair.
Right, and as we go, we'll get better at this, knowing the time at the end of the fiscal, we'll have all of this stuff ready to go for next October.
Okay.
Right.
All right, I believe we are done with old business.
All right. Under new business, we have, I don't know if we have anything else, but we added the Christmas bonuses and holiday party.
Okay, Dolores had the question. What did you have about the Christmas bonus, Dolores?
if when are we going to give it to the staff? I would think that we should do it as soon as possible, the bonus, so that they can use it for Christmas.
It's going.
I think it would be, something that they could all use at this point. And we
had it-
agreed on $100, right?
Right, $100.
And out of that 100, do we have to take taxes out of that 100, or can we give them 105 so that the $5 will take the taxes so they get the full 100? Or I'm not sure how we did that in the past.
Since it's going to be a payroll, we would have to run it a little bit more so that it averages out to $100. I've already talked with Stevenson's and we've got that check ready. It was going to go on the 18th. That's the reason why we had the holiday party scheduled for the 18th, so that they would receive their bonus checks at the holiday party.
Right.
So right now, it is still scheduled for the 18th, which will be the second payroll of the month of December. So then that's when the bonuses are scheduled to go out to the employees, on the 18th.
What day of the week is that?
Friday.
That's a Friday.
It's a Friday? And you're planning it for Friday night, the party?
5 o'clock, right after the last shift. So but right now I'm holding off on canceling because the orders, it goes until the 9th. So when I hear
So we
back
don't know if
from
we can
them,
have it.
right, I will wait. I want to wait before we get into cancel culture. I want to wait until the final moment that I can get it. Usually the state will let us know if they're going to extend or do it. We already secured a vendor for the party. So we are waiting if we're going to be able to do it or not. So the vendor is hoping, because they don't want to be out of money, and we're hoping because we want to have a good time. If we have to social distance, we can do it, like I said, upstairs and make some stuff around it. But I would like not to have to cancel it. So I'm going to hopefully wait until we have the final word in from the health department and guidance from the state.
And if we have to, we can always move it into January so that we can still have the party, but
Right. Some version of it.
Jackson, yeah.
It can just be a staff appreciation party if we can't do a holiday party.
right.
Does that answer your question, Dolores?
Yes, yes. And this is a family deal, right?
Yes, everybody would have had to register who they're coming or who they're bringing. So we would have a maximum of 50 individuals.
And will 50 individuals cover everybody and their spouse and kids?
I would think. That's all we can have anyway.
We're close. It would be close. Like some people, wouldn't be able to bring like adolescent kids, but it is the CDC's 50 individuals that are considered,
Maximum.
having to wear a mask. So 5 and under, they don't really have that. And from when I talked to the health department, it's not counted against us when I spoke with them in there. So.
Who did you get to cater it?
Mangoes.
Mangoes? I never heard of them.
They're out of Alpena.
Oh, okay.
Are they doing all Mexican?
It would be like a buffet style bar that would have like pulled pork, but yes, Mexican food, fajitas, steak, those kind of things.
All spicy food?
Not all spicy, but Mexican food has a little kick to it. But there's some other blander food I'm sure are on there. There's, I don't know.
There's always rice.
I can provide you with a menu, and you can choose from there.
I don't think that
there's also a taco bar, so you can make tacos. I mean, it comes with a taco
not
bar,
all
and then it has some accoutrements that are added to it, like barbecue and things like that. But yes, there's taco and fajita bar.
Yeah.
Mangoes.
It would be
We can
good.
get you hamburgers and fries from McDonald's.
No. I think
Hey,
it
it's
would
good.
be terrible
Good enough
spicy.
for Wisconsin? Was that Ohio State? They got the McDonald's fries for the president. So yeah, if you guys want McDonald's cheeseburgers and fries, we can do that.
There you go.
Stop on the way. Yeah,
Mangoes
no.
serves actually authentic Mexican food, which is typically not as spicy as
Right.
we eat it.
It's very tasty. Yeah, but it's not
And
spicy.
just for everyone's notice too, Taco Bell is not Mexican food.
Thank you.
Well, this Mangoes, probably the phone number's in the book, so can I call them and find out how their food is, because I cannot eat spicy food at all.
Dolores,
And
it
so-
will not be too spicy.
Not too
you-
spicy.
it
I
won't-
can't eat,
Okay.
Well,
well,
can we-
whatever. I mean,
Can we
I would
talk
like
about
to be
this?
able to call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk about? I mean, we got the cater. This is not really like ACCOA, but this is kind of like commentary on food. But yes, we have that. So, but yes, that's what we have. Any other agency questions about the board? About the Christmas bonus and the party?
So the checks, the bonuses will go out on the 18th, whether or not we can actually have a physical party.
Right. It's going to be a live check.
And that's just a regular, is it a live check or is it part of regular payroll?
I would like to be a live check because I would like to, incorporate a thank you, a message each individual worker.
Yep.
I think
I think that makes sense.
Is there any way that we could send it out sooner?
I don't believe
I think if we ask the staff, I think they would 100% go with getting it the 1st of December sometime, rather than wait until just a few days before Christmas.
it's up to this board.
This
If you
way,
guys
it's
want to
giving
move
you
it from,
time to shop.
Pardon? Say that again, Roland?
Given to when Dolores mentioned there, give them more time to go shopping for presents for the kids
Yeah.
or whatever.
I just think if it was me, I would want it earlier so that I could use it. If I can, I'll make a motion that we send it out with the next payroll, or send it out within the first week of December.
It would be the 4th.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to send out the $100 bonus check as a live check on our next payroll, which would be December 4th. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion?
I think we should discuss it.
Yeah.
I think the point of the holiday check, yes, it is a bonus, and yes, it could be used for gifts, but you know, if we wanted to give the employees an additional bonus, then we should have approved the full 4% instead of making them wait for 3% and then 1% in 6 months. So if you want to do that, then I'm open for that. Let's just move it all the way up because we approved 4% and just give them the 4% raise and just keep the bonuses as where they are. That would be more advantageous to people, you know, because then they would just get several weeks of this than just a drop in a bucket. So if you would like to make an impact into the employees right now, then everybody gets their full 4% and we're not waiting the 6 months for that. I mean, that's my view for that. I believe the bonus checks are great, you know, but the symbolism of the checks are supposed to be a Christmas gift from us.
A gift,
So
right.
a gift
Right.
from
And
us.
traditionally with when companies give out a Christmas bonus, it is usually included either as a live check or as part of payroll as a Christmas gift from the company.
To be used as they want it.
Correct.
Well, they can use it however they choose, but yeah.
Most people pay off their credit
I still stand by
card.
my motion that we do it the first week in December.
Okay, so any other discussion? Any other discussion? All right, we have a motion on the floor to.
We have to do a roll call, Mike, because it's finance.
Yes, yep. We have a motion on the floor to move the bonus date to December 4th. It's been properly moved and seconded. There is no further discussion. So let's have a roll call vote of the board members that are present.
Okay. Let me find
You
my.
want me to do it since I can see them all, Pam?
Oh, I got the list. I had to do it.
Okay.
Mike,
No.
Roger. Oh, Roger's not here. Roland
Yes.
and Stan's not here. Dolores.
Yes.
And who else is here? Nobody else is here, right?
Just you. Yep.
I'm saying no, but I would like to change. I would like to say no, and I would like to make a motion that instead of that we continue to hold that back as a Christmas gift and go ahead and change that 3% and then in another couple months, 4%, and just do the 4% raise right now.
Okay, so you're making that as a motion, Pam?
This is a tie. Don't we have to do something with this tie
We can't.
before we move on?
We can't. There are no other voting members. So in a tie, the motion is denied.
Okay.
So now we have a motion on the floor, so we have to continue with that motion. Pam has made a motion to keep the Christmas bonus of $100 on December 18th, I believe it was, Lenny?
Yes, sir.
And then move the raise, accelerate the raise to the full 4% now instead of waiting 6 months for the other one.
And that would need a second.
Yes. Is that your motion, Pam?
Yes, it is. Yes. And
Okay,
that
do
will
we-
actually net them actually probably more than $100.
Right. Do we have a second on that motion? I will second that
I'll
motion as
second it.
chair. Yep. Roland, what's that?
I'll second it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Roland will second it. Do we have any discussion?
I mean, I will guess, I will say something. If the heart behind is to help the employees in hardship, this is the way to go. It's, that $100 is a drop in the bucket. Over an entire fiscal year, you're gonna put
$2 a week.
$1,000 in their pockets over the lifetime of this race.
Yep.
So this is help now, which will go for the entire fiscal year. So if the heart was behind it was to give them something, you know, to help them, I believe that this is the way to go.
Lenny? Any other discussion? Okay, the motion on the floor again is to keep the Christmas bonus of $100 payable on December 18th as a live check and accelerate the 3+1 raise to a 4% raise effective whatever the date was we had.
Next payroll. Yeah,
The next
it'll be
payroll.
effective on next payroll.
And that motion has been moved and properly seconded. There is no further discussion. We need a roll call vote, please, Pam.
Yeah. Mike,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes,
Dolores.
No,
Okay. And myself is a yes.
Okay, the ayes have it. The motion is carried.
Okay. I will
All right.
draft the letter to the
Is there-
employees.
Yes, thank you. Is there any other new business on the agenda? Meg, go ahead. Yeah, Dolores.
I will make a motion that we do not have a board meeting in December. We wait till the January 4th Tuesday of the
Okay.
month in January.
All right. We have a
Second
motion
that.
from Dolores. Meeting
I
as is our
second.
custom.
I think Pam seconded it.
Pam has seconded it. Is there any discussion? My only discussion would be that we should leave ourselves open to a special meeting at some time during December if Roger indeed resigns. I personally feel that we ought to fill those positions before the January meeting so that in January we have a full board to be able to vote on officers, et cetera, and to hit the ground running. It could be just a quick 5-minute Zoom meeting appointing a member to replace Roger.
It would be, it's our goal to get with Roger today or at most tomorrow to get his final decision, and then we
Okay.
can get that going
Would
on the
that-
phone chain.
Would that be a personnel meeting or would that be a whole board meeting?
No, that is
We would
appointed by
call
the
each
board.
of you.
Yep.
We would call each of you, and then starting with our officers first, and then we'll get the rest of the board's input on that.
All right, that's my only discussion. So we have a motion to adjourn the December meeting. It has, sorry, go ahead, Roland.
When can we find out if Kathleen accepts or?
We should know that today.
We're gonna call her between today and tomorrow. We're gonna call her right after the meeting, and we're gonna go down the list. And like I said, our
Yep.
goal is to have everybody's contacted, including, you know, Roger as well. So.
And I
this
guess,
meeting is adjourned.
so since we had, since we had 3 candidates that were voted on, if for some reason Kathleen or Stan were to reject their election, then that third person, Mary, would be automatically put into that position. Is that correct?
As the runner-up, yep.
Okay.
It's like a beauty pageant.
Yep. Yep. All right.
Yes.
That sounds great. So I will accept a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Wait.
All right, it's been-
Second.
Yep. Oh, yeah,
Did
Meg,
we
would you like
vote?
to say something? Yeah, we're supposed to. Meg had her
Wait,
hand
wait.
up.
No, I got a question. Did
Oh.
we vote on the board meeting? Was that all
Oh,
affirmed?
you know what?
Yes?
We zipped right past that. All in favor of adjourning the December meeting? Aye.
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 All opposed? Nay? Okay, no December meeting. Meg, you had your hand up. Meg has
No,
disappeared.
I think
Oh,
Meg
maybe
waved.
she was waving goodbye.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Dolores
Wow.
has moved to adjourn the meeting. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Pam seconds it. All in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed? Nay. Exactly 2 hours, people.
Did it.
There we go. We're getting better at this. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Yep,
Thank
take
you,
care.
sir.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
You good.
too.
And you
Thank you.
guys be safe. Happy Turkey Day.
Say a quick prayer. I'm still awaiting my COVID test results. I feel like crap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I almost asked, so, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Good.
We'll talk to y'all later.